Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that the prodigal son has made his return after sowing so much destruction in the lands of Tevyat, the lands of Genshin Impact. The hero, Glaive Kio, has finally returned to Wuthering Waves to talk a bit about Mangzhou 3.5 and the wonders that exist onward in the land of... I don't really know what they do there. I think it's like robots and shit, but we'll like find out soon. You know what I mean? It's China again. Yeah, so basically, Glaive Kio's back at it with another WuWa Glaze video. And it's been a long time. I'm gonna be honest. His Genshin adventure went on for a little bit too long. And Genshin's kind of like losing hype right now because the moon patch looks like some hot doo-doo. But WuWa, on the other hand, has its live stream coming up in just a couple of days. And of course, has drip marketed some of the most appealing designs we've ever seen in the space. And I'm interested in hearing from the guy who's always known for drawing some comparisons between the gachas of yesterday, and of course, the gachas of the present. Yes, because as we all know, Genshin Impact is the only game out of these three that's still alive. So why don't we see how Wuthering Waves' new content compares to it?
Most live service game developers like to space things out. And
all right. Yep. Glaive's doing that thing where he sounds like he has allergies, so he speaks at 0.75 speed. So I'm going to bump it up to 1.25 so he sounds normal.
it's normal to think that they would actually benefit more from doing so. Some gacha companies even have set schedules for when they will drip market characters coming in the next patch. So it is pretty weird when Kuro Games just refuses to do what any other normal company would do. And
that's actually true. Kuro Games' drip marketing is at a level that I feel like no other company's actually at this point. Their drip marketing game is probably the best out of all the gachas.
do their own thing, right in the middle of a very high-profile collaboration event, and also just a few days after the release of a brand new character, by the way, they decided to just be like,
Screw it. Here's a big surprise for our players.
just when we thought the game would slow down a bit. After the constant Absolute Cinema updates we have gotten, they have actually hit us with yet another truck of content. There are
Yeah, and I think the timing of this one's gotta be some of the craziest shit ever. I don't think anyone got close to expecting 6 different drip markets 3, 4, 5 days after Lucilla's release, right in the middle of one of the most highly anticipated collabs ever. It was a lot of news to all take in at once, and this is the end result of it. This is Wuthering Waves' popularity on YouTube searches. Oh, sorry. Just ignore the dead game. I'm deleting it from the chart. Yeah, so this is Wuthering Waves' popularity over the past year on YouTube searches. You can see, starting from July, of course, all the way to June. This drip marketing spree, alongside Lucilla's release in Cyberpunk, is literally the most popular time in WuWa history. In, like, the past, past couple of years. And we're heading into the live stream in the next couple of days, so it's gonna spike back up. But that's the level of engagement that Kuro's been able to drive from this kind of like 1, 2, 3 action that they've been doing. And as you can see, I mean, like, guys, this was 3.0's launch. This is 3.0's launch. Lahai Roy, the new region. Cyberpunk collab, all that shit. Boom. That's where it is, bro. Bro, this is where this shit is. And you can see it worked.
are 6 massive character reveals, all of them having incredible designs and potential. Did somebody say potential? And not just that.
I still feel like Chisa is like... They've got to know what they're doing with her, right? Like, she literally exists as a meme. They need to, like, make that meme meta. Where, like, Chisa actually goes and off-screen, like, saves a city. Like, while we're off in, like, Mangzhou or something, we go back to Star Torch and we find out, like, Chisa, like, saved an entire city or some shit like that by, like, slicing a Threnodian in half. Like, but it just needs to be giga casual.
They also leaked their own gameplay footage through a highly respected person that is not Jeff Keighley. We are not even halfway through the updates, and we are already getting this much? This is, in my opinion, a little bit too insane. But before...
This is what I'll say here, though, about this gameplay trailer. I don't actually know if this was, like, the right move from them. Because this got overshadowed by the drip. In my personal opinion. The Yangyang and Sui gameplay, I think it got overshadowed by the drip. I think if they only showed Yangyang and Sui, then their gameplay, and then revealed the rest of them afterwards, it might have been the move. That's my take. You get Yangyang Sui's reveal initially, then you show off their gameplay, and then you show the rest of the cast. I think that would have been better, because then you have hype for Yangyang and Sui, immediately follow it up by the hype for, like, Sin, the rest of the units, Jingran, whatever, right? The kind of, like, end result, right, is that, like, you had to share the gameplay's hype with the reveal of Shin, the Sentinel, and all of that, and it kind of, like, cannibalized itself. That's my personal take on it.
Is, in my opinion, a little bit too insane. But before that, if you want to see more content from me, feel free to smash the like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell icon to keep up with my videos. Without wasting any more of your time, let's just get right into it. Let us first address the elephant in the room. What the f is Kuro Games thinking? They must be panicking right now in the office, like there is no way. Day after day, there is always something new happening. Right now,
They don't need to do anything. Bro, this is how I know Kuro's confident in Wuthering Waves. They're fucking destroying WuWa's endgame. They're like destroying WuWa's endgame by putting in like the most like annoying ass HP inflation. And I don't think they do that unless every gacha game is actually a piece of shit right now. Yeah, no, it truly genuinely is like, wow. You're not playing NTE. You know you're not playing AKE. You know you're not playing ZZZ. You know you're not playing HSR.
Now, they should be focusing on the Cyberpunk Edgerunners collab, which was just launched about a week ago, bringing in a faithfully written story and a faithfully crafted character models. Lucilla was also just dropped a few days ago. I haven't even fully built her up yet. Logically, the best move to make, at least for the revenue, is to wait. Any other company would space things out here and give their audience a break from the constant explosions to catch a breath.
If we're gonna be honest though, not really. Especially with the timing of this update, with the Cyberpunk collab patch only being like 32 days.
Wait until the hype dies down a bit, wait until you get the most money out of it, and then you build up the hype again. But well, I guess getting the most money is not what the developers are trying to accomplish. They dropped a brief 1 minute and 40-second preview on YouTube that revealed 6, not just 1 or 2, but 6 whole characters. A week after the new update, a few days after the new character. Isn't that just insane? Some might even call it a blunder, and the community was obviously caught off guard.
I think the biggest thing that this does is it truly is like the opposite of like FOMO. And this is the way that I'm going to describe this. So we all know that the strategy, right, for the Cyberpunk collab, if you were truly trying to maximize your free-to-play resources, was to not pull any of the units at all, right, until you got all your free pulls so that you don't waste anything. Well, if you did that, then you would have effectively seen this drip marketing before you even start pulling on the characters. And I bet there's a non-zero chance some people decided to skip the Cyberpunk units and not even pull on the collab because they saw the drip and decided to save for them instead. So literally, it's like this kind of is like, I think all this really did was sway, like, make somebody decide whether or not they're gonna skip or pull the Cyberpunk collab. But the thing is that if they didn't do the drip and the reveal, there would have been less incentive to skip it and more incentive to spend. You know what I mean? So it is, in all respects, I don't really see how this is. I only see this being like player friendly because of the insane amount of planning time that it gave. And if you're somebody that cared enough to wait for the free pulls, then you probably like getting the drip marketing news. You probably love it.
They went from talking about the collab, talking about other things like Tens playing Wuthering Waves, which I covered in my channel, to talking about how absolutely cooked their wallets are going to be, talking about the future that is going to arrive in just a few weeks. Because when you see these characters, none of them look skippable.
I hope Geshu Lin will appear in this new region. Hey guys, you never know. Maybe Geshu Lin is going to be the Mengzhou's Ameth. Yeah, Geshu Lin is going to be Mengzhou's Ameth, guys. The unannounced, unseen character that ends up...
All of them look so good, but what if that's the goal? I mean, think about it. Yes, the Cyberpunk collaboration just started a week ago. Lucilla just dropped, and people, even content creators, were barely able to breathe with all of the new content.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. The 3.4's release is, to this day, like one of the most stressful times I think I've had in content creation. Not because it was like hard or anything, it's because they just scheduled way too much stuff. Like, it was actually 3 unit releases, 3 kits, 3 weapons, 3 guides in like the span of like 5 days, which is like absurd, right? It's a lot. There's a reason why I think I'm the only CC that released a guide video for all 3 characters. I think everyone else like skipped one of the units. Like, everyone else like skipped one of them.
They decided to drop all of them.
Because it was Lucilla, Lucy, and Rebecca all within like 3 or 4 days.
This. Screw all of the standard and how they are supposed to market and run their game based on the rulebook. What is it that they figured out that we haven't? And when I really think about it, there is actually no better time than now. Why, you may ask? The Cyberpunk collab undoubtedly got the game a lot of new and returning players. That is not an opinion, that is a fact. And we can see it through the active Steam player records breaking. When the new update went live, the servers were shaky and a lot of new content creators covered it. People we never even thought would play the game from.
I think that the Steam release was mainly like for this. The Steam release was essentially like a mainstream sort of like lever for people to get into the game. I don't know how many players it ended up retaining though, right? Just because it's like, again, Steam is kind of like one of like the mainstream access points for gacha games. And the game's also free to play, and that also means there's going to be some player fall off. So I'd like to see how good the retaining is moving forward, because I just need to check the Steam charts for this other game. After you guys see the Steam charts for this game that I'm gonna show you, you're gonna be like, oh, I see why Wuthering Waves is actually doing pretty good. Let me just get this going for you guys. Come on, verify my humanity, bitch. Yeah, that's what it can look like for some games. So yeah, you know, it like launches to like a bunch of like fanfare and stuff, and then like it just starts casually going down more and more and more ever since. Pretty good, to be honest. Let's see you in a month.
Promoted it. Tens, BTS Jungkook. What the hell? Everybody, you name it. The game is getting praise from the player base as a whole, and even from the people they collaborated with. Wuthering Waves actually, unironically, went mainstream. If the devs go silent now, they could fumble what would otherwise be considered the freest of free wins. So what did they do? It is like they are saying, the best collaboration in the genre might be ending this patch, but next patch, we have got a whole lot of other things for you. Look at all of these characters. Matter of fact, here is us leaking our own gameplay footage. And mark my words, this will not be the end of it.
This is the thing, Glaive. You need to understand, though, that this was not just like some off-the-cuff thing. I'm like 99% sure it was planned in advance for them to do all the Meg Zhou stuff at this point. I think Kuro knew that the collab was going to be critically acclaimed. I think they knew that there was going to be hype. This is basically them having like the full confidence to prep the entire Meg Zhou cast in advance, shorten the patch by 10 days so that they could do this marketing thing. You have to plan for a 10-day shortened patch. You have to plan for drip marketing 6 characters at once. You have to plan for releasing that video. And it's like literally them saying, yeah, we're going to put our money where our mouth is. This patch is going to do well. It's kind of ballsy.
We are going to see more soon, and I bet you it's going to be absolute cinema. Right now, we can see how it's already shaping expectations.
It's kind of ballsy.
The new trailer shows us a style where traditional Chinese meets high-tech mechanical sci-fi elements. It tells the audience that the environment of this new region is going to look entirely different from anything we have explored over the last year. But
this is like WuLing if it wasn't dog shit.
That is just a theory for now. What we really got was the reveal of the characters.
This is like if Enfield wasn't bad. Like, this to me is like, now I know that Kuro Games is pissed off by Enfield being bad. They're probably just like, dude, they fucked this shit up so badly. Let's just do it better.
So why don't we check them out?
Why do you say WuLing is shit? It looks good. I don't know. I love Mifu. Why don't you ask the, let's see over here. Let's see over here. Let's see who we should ask about why WuLing is bad. All right, let's ask the other. What's 96,000 minus 400? Let's ask the other 95,000 people why that's the case. Yeah, I love Mifu. Let's go ask the 95 other 1,000 people that aren't watching this game and quit watching it why. There's a lot to choose from.
The first character Kuro put on screen is a familiar face, but a 5-star version of her, Yangyang Xuanling. I don't know about you, but this is a massive deal for me, because not only is Yangyang the literal poster child and mascot of the game, but she is canonically, literally the one who cares about you the most in the game. Every single patch, when you are sent a letter in your mailbox asking for your feedback, who sends it to you? Yangyang.
Not gonna lie, I don't even like this character.
And every single time,
I've always thought of her as like, bro, she's trying too hard.
The message is different. It is not.
She's trying too hard, and she ain't cool enough. She ain't cool enough to be taking up this much screen time.
Had a copy and pasted message like,
Hey, traveler, time to do a survey.
Yangyang actually writes different letters for each survey based on what you experienced this patch. And isn't that just nice? Wholesome? Romantic? Who knows? But
I don't even read them.
what I do know is that
I haven't read a single one ever. I literally don't care that. I don't care that little.
this Yangyang is the same girl, just with a completely different look and a much better looking kit and animations. Just look at her hair. It's the same hairstyle, but
Part of me thinks this isn't actually her. I know all y'all be gonna be saying, oh, but it's like, Lord, it's not. Nothing is confirmed yet about who's the Grand Architect and who's not. All I'm gonna say is that one's Arrow and the other's Havoc. And, like, one has the glowing hair and, like, the other doesn't. And, like, bro, what happened for her to be like this? Or was she always like this and the other one's just not real?
she got a glow up. Get it? Because it's glowing. A lot of players consider
She's overclocked. Okay, so that happened off screen? Oh, that's the implication, that she overclocked off screen. She's like, oh, here's the new me, Rover. Yeah, that's a little bit loosey-goosey too, isn't it?
her 4-star version terrible. In the current meta, yeah, sure, I guess you could argue that. But at launch, her kit wasn't horrible at all. The only thing horrible about her was her voice acting direction.
No, end her outro skill. Glaive, yeah, I need you to stop LARPing, bro. Bro, Yangyang's kit is actually great, aside from her outro skill just giving you energy.
Are you sure you want us to leave? It could be
Her
dangerous
outro skill is worse than her voice.
for you. Okay.
Her outro skill is worse than her voice.
Shuzia and I will wear these black flowers and go look for members of the Black Shores in the city. The Trinodian is only going to summon more of them as we go. We need someone to keep them away and escort the others into the statue.
Yeah, this was rough. And some could say this is the reason why she's been excommunicated from the story for a while. She's only been allowed to send us letters.
I understand you're planning to do it yourself, General. But I think I am better suited for this task.
Thank God we have improved so much since then. Anyway, at launch, she wasn't top of the top amazing, but she was one of the more usable ones.
She's literally at the bottom of the tier list, Glaive. There's no category below B. She's actually the second worst character in the game based off this tier list. The only person worse than her is Alto.
Outro helps energy-hungry characters. Her rotations are quick, and she
Bro, why are you LARPing?
could group enemies. I mean, her damage was nothing to write home about, but she gets the job done, and that is what ultimately matters. Now we can see her having some of the most visually insane effects seen in a kit. The basic attack chain
Okay, we're not LARPing anymore.
looks incredible, similar to something like a wuxia-style sword stance, but with blue fire effects. One might even suggest that this looks pretty Demon Slayer-esque. The bird chirping noises are cool details.
Now you're LARPing for fucking Asia! Bro, you just said wuxia! That's from China! This is Japan! What the fuck? Like, if you said this for Hiyuki, fair. But what the fuck? Dude, I think... Okay, you need... This is actually criminal. What the fuck?
The notice, and when she does her ults and the bird chirping sounds something like fireworks. But now, seeing her get this massive visual upgrade with a blue feather draped dress and her
GG to the editor? No, it's GG to this guy. He's fucking out here comparing Wuxia to Demon Slayer.
signature weapon, it immediately has people talking about something called a Second Resonance Awakening. That is basically a lore-driven event where a character's powers mutate and hit a completely new level. A fun talking point, though, is that for the fanbase, this sets a pretty healthy precedent. It means Kuro isn't just going to abandon the old launch cast from version 1.0, giving players hope that other forgotten characters might eventually get the same treatment.
So this is the thing. Second Resonance Awakenings seems like something we would have tapped into, but this would appear to be like the first time, and we still don't even know if this shit is a Second Resonance Awakening. So it's kind of just like, man, I'm excited to see what the actual reveal is regarding her, because it is like a little bit confusing that she's the only one so far. And this is, I think, one of the main takes, maybe. What if she was just lying? It could have just been that too. What if she was just lying the whole time? She was just griefing in Jinzhou.
And then there is the massive debates over her actual combat elements, which Kuro just loves to do for some reason. Her 4-star element is Arrow, but some are debating whether she might be Havoc. Some guess
Yeah, this was obviously recorded in advance. She is Havoc.
Glacio, which I'm gonna be honest, is probably not happening. I mean, Hiyuki just released, and she is a Glacio sword user. It's probably not wise
this is a
put
little
the
bit,
exact same character type again in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, I don't even know if this is
in my
LARPing
opinion,
at this
she's
point.
Electro, because the bird noises when she is attacking reminds me of Sasuke.
No, she's Havoc, bro. Yeah, no, Lord confirmed with the blue fire. I think this is also the part that really just throws a lot of people off about this. I'm just gonna skip this because obviously this is probably the best part to guide the discussion. This is a unit that literally has blue fire in their kit. This is why you should wait and give at least a week before making a video. Okay, wait. I need to go pull up this guy. 1 second. Sorry. I don't think you deserve chatting privileges. Did you just say that a CC should wait a video or wait a week to make a video about a character? Yeah, you know what? I think you should. This is gonna be my take. I think you need to wait a week before you can send another message in my chat because that shit was mad retarded. I'm sorry. I just need to call that one out. My bad. Anyways, we're back on the screen with like Galbraina over here, and yeah, this bitch got blue fire, and she's fusion. And the thing is with Galbraina's VFX, they look literally exactly the same as Yangyang's, but then Yangyang has birds, and then birds fly, and then birds are arrow. So she's got fusion elements, she's got arrow elements, she's got water. Maybe this is the thing. Maybe Yangyang is meant to be Havoc because she's everything. So it's kind of like how like black, right, is when you put every color together, it'll like look like black. And so maybe all of the different attributes put together makes like Havoc. Because it's a fucking mess. Maybe that is like lore what she is. She's literally everything put together. And that's how she makes Havoc. Chaos. Havoc is chaotic. Chaotic would be every single attribute. That's what it looks like, bro. That's literally what she looks like.
Galbraina wears blue, but throws purple fire. And let's not even talk about Mornye. Right after her, we see Sui Sui, or Sui Sui. I have no idea. And
this bitch is Glacio. I didn't even realize they made it this obvious. Wait, she got water droplets.
Sui Sui, or Sui Sui. I have no idea.
That go into a pool and then make her stop.
And the community
she was
immediately started
Glacio.
psychoanalyzing her relationship to Yangyang. The biggest theory going around is that they are sisters.
It's pretty much confirmed at this point.
Mostly because their tacit marks look identical.
And like they're both from like rich families and like it's from their, yeah, it's kind of obvious.
And sit in the exact same spots. Their foreheads. Like how does that even work though, right? Bloodlines sharing tacit mark locations? Could they be twins? But if that is so, then why is Yangyang tied to Jinzhou, while Sui Sui represents a place called Mingting? Her design splits the fan base a bit. She is blonde, wears an elegant cultural outfit, and
as giant bazookas.
Wields a traditional fan. Her attacks are like dances, using fans in ways I never seen before, or I have.
This is the most supportive kit I think anyone's ever seen.
I've seen before, but this is just prettier, and I think that is original and creative. But looking past the surface design, veteran players are much more interested in what her kit implies. She uses a fan weapon, which usually means wind control, right? But the community is heavily betting on her being a dedicated support.
She's a Glacio dedicated support that's probably going to be doing Glacio chafe. I'm just wondering, Glaive, like, do you just like, do you ever tell the editor if we're too late on this, should we just cut this part out? It is kind of fun to see the thought process though.
Implies. She uses a fan weapon, which usually means wind control, right? But the community is heavily betting on her being a dedicated support. Understandable because she makes
let's hear the explanation from the LARPer here.
Something like an AoE field that looks more like a support buffer kit rather than a DPS. Good news though, in this game's economy, support characters are pretty broken. People are already comparing her potential value to other meta-defining units. How generalist is she going to be compared to someone like Shorekeeper, for example?
So this is what the jury's pretty much saying over here. Seems like she should be a negative status support for one main reason. That's the only support type we actually need. That's pretty much it, guys. we're in a situation where we have a Tomb Break support called Mornier. We've got two generalist supports called Verena and Bu Ling that are like more on the affordable end. We got a premium generalist support with Shorekeeper, and then we got one negative status support with Chisa. And then a bunch of other sort of like tertiary healer sub DPS hybrids. Negative statuses right now have like currently 3 meta teams that have 3 of the most popular units in the game. Yeah, like we got Cardathea, Imith, and Hiyuki. They all got negative status teams, and like realistically, you can only play like 2 of them, right? With your Chisa and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think the main takeaway for a lot of people is that negative statuses are feeling the most stretched thin, especially in End State Matrix. So, that's the hope.
General consensus is that even if her visual style arguably feels a bit reserved, her utility will probably make her an absolute must-pull for anyone looking to clear high-end content.
She looks like a must-pull. Let's just say that. Support units in pretty much every single gacha have been considered the most broken, overpowered shit in the longest time. And the only unit that's been able to sort of like go against that notion is Chisa. Yeah. And it's odd that now we're asking for like an alternative to Chisa, but that's just the impact that not having team comps can do to you. Mornier, for example, right, felt good within one update. Mornier felt like more of a must-pull than Chisa did, even though Mornier came out after her. Nowadays, Chisa's more in demand than Mornier is. And that's just like the honest truth of it. That's how bad the impact of releasing 2 whole new archetypes, right, in 2 updates, that's how bad it can be. But that's just how fast the meta in this game can actually shift. Imagine having a conversation like this during the Sagrika patch. Yeah, by the way, Chisa's gonna be the most in-demand character in the game, and we're gonna need a Chisa replacement in 2 updates, guys. Yeah, in 2 updates, we're gonna need a Chisa replacement. Imagine saying that during the Sagrika patch.
Ming instantly captured everyone's attention by leaning hard into a very specific aesthetic. She is dressed almost entirely in black and white with sharp red accents. A lot of players immediately called her a new version of Dungeon. I mean, of course, they look similar in some ways, but at the same time, their aura is just too different. Dungeon looks nice, but in reality, she might be a little bit crazy. Ming might look
yeah, that's the vibe. She kills people like crazy.
Intimidating, judging in a way too. But she might be a sweetie pie. We will never know, huh? But because of that visual similarity, the community is already agreeing on her having the Havoc elements.
Yeah.
Her weapon is an umbrella. We already have a character who attacks with an umbrella, which is Cantarella, who is also coincidentally Havoc, but her attacks are more flowy. I predict that with Swarming, we will get a more fast-paced attacker kind of character. And I just have a feeling that she is going to be Electro. I can't.
You think Swo Ming is gonna be Electro? All right. Yeah, I don't know about that one, dog. Yeah, I don't know about that one, dog. You might be
exactly, but I just
you might be on drugs.
Really strong feeling. And then you have Jingren. I don't know how to pronounce his name either, but he is the only male character Kuro decided to show.
Bro, this guy is so fucking lame. It's unbelievable.
Off. Most of the people I saw on the internet are pretty happy about this.
Bro, this guy is so fucking lame, it's unbelievable.
I also saw a few people who...
She has lightning on her thing. Where's the lightning? Oh, you're calling that lightning?
Of players immediately...
Oh, so you're calling this Electro. Okay. Okay, she's arrow because she has feathers. Yeah, she's arrow because she has feathers. Only birds have those, and birds are arrow. Oh, wait, we're already wrong. If she can have blue fire and be Havoc, she can have Havoc-colored electricity, okay, and be Havoc. I don't care. I don't think anything matters. Yeah, I think that's the main takeaway. I don't think anything matters.
Of Jingren. I don't know how to pronounce his name either, but he is the only male character Kuro decided to show off. Most of the people I saw on the internet are pretty happy about this.
Nah, he looks lame as shit, bro.
I also saw a few people who were pretty disappointed with the lineup because they were hoping for more male characters. I don't really know which part of my audience prefers. I don't know what y'all are leaning into because
I just wanted one that didn't look like a fucking dork.
To be honest, I don't know if you watch me because you want to hear my takes or if you're just incredibly gay for my VTuber model.
Maybe this is the reason why I hate his model.
Really is one or the other, but don't
And Jing Ran.
worry, I'm not bothered by it. It's just interesting. Anyways, part of the community absolutely lost their minds over him. Like literally any male character ever announced in WuWa. He has two-tone hair that looks like the main character from the anime Windbreaker. A tacit mark on his eyes, which looks very much like mine. Is this me? In-game? Did Solon Lee really just make me a playable character? All this glazing, has it finally paid off? Solon!
This was the main reason why I wanted to watch this video, was to mainly see like what this guy's reaction was going to be to a unit that I guess sort of looks like him.
Do you hear my cries? Please invite me to the next Kuro Fest! He carries a lantern.
Now we just need Glaive to drop a couple of like well, we need Glaive to go on his Furlova rampage.
And a spear, which players from Hoyoverse are calling out Kuro Games for copying, claiming that apparently Hoyoverse created male characters carrying lanterns. As
I do want to see how similar his kit does end up looking to Flynn's. I have a feeling Jing Ran's kit is going to look a lot different than Flynn's. Definitely not at the same level of Remiel and Imith. That one's a bit rough.
as per usual, nothing out of the ordinary here, folks. This time, I don't see much backlash though. Maybe I'm just not on that side of the algorithm. Personally, my For You page has been filled with Jalen Brunson, the king of New York. But that is besides the points.
So you just looking at videos of black dudes? Is that's what you up to right now? You just watching videos of big old 6-foot black dudes on your YouTube page? Sounds about right, Glaive. Keep it up, brother.
I'm not even American. There is also a lot of dry skepticism around him because of how Kuro traditionally treats male units. The running joke among players is that male characters have to jump through.
Why so specific? Did you actually just ask me why so specific when he put this in the video and said he was watching this? You ask him where the specificity came from when this is in the video. Are you retarded?
But that is besides the points. I'm not even American. There is also a lot of dry skepticism around him because of how Kuro traditionally treats male units. The running joke among players is that male characters have to jump through hoops just to survive, meaning they need a massive animation budget, a top-tier main damage kit. Love or hate the edginess, Kuro balances these niche character tropes by bringing out their absolute heaviest hitters for the final reveal.
They kind of didn't do that with Chu Yan, and it does lead me to believe they may have fucked up there not making Chu Yan a DPS because of this. They ended up releasing Lucilla anyways. So it's kind of like, should Chu Yan have just been a DPS the whole time? If you were just going to release Lucilla like that.
Xiao can step on me. I meant that as a compliment. She is a massive visual win, blending a very specific cloud and ice theme. She has cloud-like horns and an intricate dress with a distinct side cutout, which to me make her look like a premiumly designed unit. I really just made a new word for her.
My personal take is I don't really like King Zhao that much. She kind of she actually reminds me of, and this is just my personal take, she actually looks like a ZZZ character put into WuWa. King Zhao, to me, literally is ZZZ character put into WuWa. I think her design is kind of boring.
Just for her. The trailer shows her summoning multiple floating swords made out of ice or
the attack and stuff is cool.
Players are already arguing over
but bro,
whether she is a Glacio or Arrow
every time I look at Qing Zhao, all I think is that she's just wearing an apron.
Character. If she is Arrow, she might directly compete with Karthatia's role, but either way, it looks good, and that's all I care about, but she might be broken too. But I don't know, she might be a sub DPS from the looks of it. And then the trailer drops to Shin, and yes.
So like, again, just my, bro, she just looks like she's wearing an apron. How does it not? Like, it literally is an apron. I think it's the side cutouts make it look like an apron. That's the part. Like, you know what I'm talking about here. So it's just like, I don't know. Like, to me, it's like there's not enough stuff on it. It seems like there's things missing. I think is the main point. All right, now he's gonna move on to the real stun log.
A lot of people mispronounce her name. I swear it's not that, bro. Who is by far the biggest bombshell of the whole reveal. She could step on me too, but in doing so, I might actually die.
So this is an example of a similar outfit to King Zhao that just has more stuff on it. This is what I mean by it needs more stuff on it. Shin is arguably wearing more clothes than King Zhao is. but she's like more popular, right? I'm talking about like the bells and whistles and like the fucking like the jewelry and like the stuff like that and the accents and the colors, right? Bro, this bitch is like, there's a little bit of blue up here and then it's all just white down there. There's like no distinction. Everything looks like flat and there's like no real color waves. It's just all white. I think it's boring as hell. This one, on the other hand, there's like a lot of like variety and stuff. It looks like cool and everything, you know, and there's like the jewel in the middle as well. And that jewel
die. Why? I can't
I think King Zhao's design, I think it's just too boring, bro.
believe I'm saying this, but there are lore reasons. There are actually lore reasons though. She is actually one of Huang Long's 7 Sentinels. Could she still step on me? What is a high tier bum to a low tier god? Am I right? In this case, she is not a low tier god, nor am I a bum. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I hope I'm making sense. The reason why this is such a big deal is that up until this point,
we've had to play the Resonator, but don't worry guys, we now have the Sentinels playable. And so I think the biggest thing that this does is it opens the door to Threnodians being playable too.
Sentinels were massive godlike boss creatures, right? Sometimes it's the enemies we fight. We have had
And does this mean we're gonna get a human form of Jue in the future? We gonna end up with like a human form of Leviathan?
Sentinel resonators, we have had Threnodian resonators, but making a Sentinel playable in a human body resonator form changes everything for the story going forward. It sets a precedent that top tier cosmic entities and Threnodians are no longer off limits for
I think that's one of the biggest parts.
For the gacha roster. People are already joking that if Sentinels are fair game, we are going to get a playable version of Aleph 1 to walk around automatically collecting echoes like Kirby. Actually,
yeah, I don't know about that one, bro.
that might not be a complete impossibility. I have seen a few characters do that, but who knows? Visually, her design leans heavily.
Why'd he say Aleph 1 like that? Well, why don't you ask Chase? Why don't you ask Chase from the New Federation why he is calling Aleph 1 Aleph 1? Because we just had this Texan dude show up in the middle of the Lahara quest.
Into classic nine-tailed fox mythology, giving her a mature, commanding presence that completely matches her black and white red color scheme, right? The community reaction was instant as well, with players calling her an absolute must-purchase before even seeing a single frame of her actual combats. Looking at everything we got though, people are speculating that Kuro Games is trying to net more people into playing the game.
I think this is the main sort of takeaway from the Megjo drip, at least for me. We're going back to fantasy and to vibes that we really haven't had in a long fucking time. Like a really, really long time. Like, bro, the last time I feel like we've had a design like this was like fucking 2.6 with Augusta and Yuno. That's like the bro, it's been almost a year since we've had like anything even like sort of fantasy-y. I guess Chuyan in 2.7. Galbraina's more like modern, right? Like modern Rockstar sort of vibes. Chuyan in 2.7. But that was just him by himself. Random Mingting unit, right? This is the entire cast. And I think one thing that we can see really clearly up front is the cultural inspiration in the designs, and it's done very, very, very well, and it's done, I think, in, most importantly, a tasteful way, because I think this is something that a lot of people sometimes don't understand about like the Chinese aesthetic. If you don't do wuxia well, it's not really that popular. And you want to know what the oddest thing about this is? I feel like Where Winds Meet is literally an example of wuxia not actually being done that well for the West. You guys have all seen that Where Winds Meet just doesn't really pop off in the West, right? The way that it does in the East, and like it's just stagnated and fallen off absurdly. The biggest part of that, it's the design. It's the aesthetic. It's the look. People just really aren't into it. Too flowy, all of that stuff. But when you have like a good mix of like, you know, the stuff that Westerners are going to like, because WuWa has a lot of players in the West, they gotta have that good blend. And I feel like they've been able to hit it on the head pretty well with this cast that they've been showing over here by not leaning too much into the fantasy. And I think this is the big part, making sure that they've still got the traditional goonery that most people are looking for. Because one thing everyone knows about Where Winds Meet, guys, there's like no goonery in that game.
She could step on me too.
Bro, that game's basically like censored. That game is like mad fucking censored. And you ain't got that going on over here because we got the anime woman instead. So I guess it works out. Yeah, I guess it works out.
on automatically collecting echoes like Kirby. Actually, that might not be a complete impossibility. I have seen a few characters do that, but who knows? Visually, her design leans heavily into classic nine-tailed fox mythology, giving her a mature, commanding presence that completely matches her black and white red color scheme, right? The community reaction was instant as well.
Yeah. There's a reason why she's the most popular of them all, because she's going on a bunch of different inspirations. Sin, however the fuck you pronounce it. Obviously, bro, I don't even think nine-tailed foxes are from China. Right? Like they're not. They're actually from Japan, aren't they? Are they from Korea? They're from Korea and Japan. They're called Jing. Okay, so they all got their own version. They all got their own version. Okay, all right. Well, this is what I'm gonna say about her. She don't really look Chinese. Yeah, the one that they have, she not really giving me like the full Chinese vibe. She seems very like Japanese inspired.
Playing the game. I mean, that's a
Probably based off the fact that she looks like Hiyuki, which I think is intentional. How does she... Wait, are there actually people typing in question marks when I said she looks like Hiyuki? Wait, are you guys saying this doesn't look like a Shrine Maiden? Wait, you guys are saying this doesn't look like a Shrine Maiden outfit. Wait, is that actually a response I'm getting in my chat, that this doesn't look like a Shrine Maiden outfit, even though the colors are literally... The outfit does remind me of Yeah, no, this... Anyways, I don't even know what to say right now. Yeah, okay.
Tailed fox mythology, giving her a mature, commanding presence that completely matches her black and white red color scheme, right? The community reaction was instant.
I'm ready to move past this.
True. From where I see it, Kuro Games found a way to please their own players while simultaneously attracting new people into playing the game. It shows from their reception, shows from how they did their marketing, and it shows in the raw data, how they managed to break their own peak player record, and how they managed to absolutely exceed expectations whenever they are given the opportunity, making me hopeful for the longevity of the game.
I think the main takeaway is that for the main appeal unit, there's a way for that unit to appeal to everybody. I think we can just say that. There are obviously going to be a lot of like incredibly retarded individuals who are... Sorry. There are going to be a lot of retarded individuals who are going to, for some reason, say that like... Bro, I don't even... Like, bro, are there literally people saying that the red, white, and black colored character, which is the same color as a Shrine Maiden, doesn't look like a Shrine Maiden? Bro, like, what are we even doing here?
2 years is usually around the...
I guess even with those people out there, you'll still have a reason to be attracted to and interested in the design.
Time where developers stop trying with a game and focus...
And white hair. It doesn't. You're reaching. All right. Let's put it to the test, guys. Guys, let's put this to the test. I'm sorry. I literally just did one Google search. This has to be the funniest shit I've ever seen. Wait a second. I need to just... Sorry. This is Exhibit A. Are you guys ready for Exhibit B? Yeah, guys, they don't look similar. Not even a little bit. Yeah, not even a little bit similar, guys. The outfits are completely fucking different. I don't see why anybody would have any reason at all to fight. Are you guys... This is actually the narrative that was happening in my chat. People are saying they don't look similar. Are you retarded? I'm just wondering, are you actually brain dead retarded? You want to know what? I need to show you guys actually what... Let me see here. Do they have in the wiki Hiyuki's other forms? Do they show off her other forms? Because I was gonna say, there's like one like smaller version of Hiyuki. Shin looks like a grown-up version of like one of Hiyuki's other forms. That's probably the best way for me to describe it. They literally don't. Bro, get another pair of glasses. One is a Chinese dress. The other is a Japanese one. You as an Asian should know that. All right, Elveni. I think you're white, right? You have 10 seconds to link me a traditional piece of Bosnian clothing. And you got to know the name of it too. Oh, time's up. Rest in peace. I guess he didn't know. I guess he didn't know a piece of Bosnian clothing. Off rip. Ouch. Ouch. Wait, so you should have actually answered that one, but you still couldn't. Wait, so like it was actually an answerable question. You actually. Oh dear. So you're like actually in like adjacent country and you weren't able to tell, and then suddenly me, the American guy, is able to determine that this is a traditional Chinese piece of dress. Bro, I can't. I don't got that. I don't got that expertise, unfortunately.
Focus on the next game they're making, but that doesn't seem to be the case with Kuro
They just look both very similar to me.
games, because the current Cyberpunk collaboration patch is a brief 30-something days. Version 3.5 is arriving much faster than anyone anticipated. The only problem people are worried about...
I think I know what the issue is. A lot of like, for some reason, even though like Eastern Asians all have very similar cultural stuff, they seem to get very upset when you get them confused with each other. Which to me is just like, yo, how about you guys stop being sensitive little pussies? Oh my gosh. The guy said the Japanese thing looks Chinese. Guys, did you know that there's food dishes that are called the same thing in all three countries? Yeah, there's food that's called the same thing in all three countries. Yeah, they have the same dish. And then suddenly it's like you get all up in arms and you start like getting all like pissy and shit because, oh God, somebody said the Japanese thing looks Chinese. Oh God, the Japanese thing look Korean. Oh, the Korean thing look Chinese. Bro, they all have a nine-tailed fox in their fucking lore. Bro, their lore is they all have a nine-tailed fox. You ever heard of Ari from League of Legends? Yeah, she's the Korean one. You ever heard of Naruto? He's the Japanese one. And now we're out here up in arms over the origin of this bitch's dress. I know this does seem a little bit wild, but you're not your country. Yeah. I'm sorry if you don't, especially in the context of gacha games, you're not your country.
Is not the quality of the patch, or the content, or in this case the characters. It is about the in-game premium currency, their wallets. People like me who wailed on the Cyberpunk collab, or the people who emptied their savings in-game for Lucilla, are fully trained. Me personally, I'm gonna go and 100% all regions and play every quest to get as many asteroids as I can get. Thankfully,
no, you're gonna wail, bro.
We have the skip button, and the game makes exploration incredibly easy. All things considered, Kuro Games played this situation beautifully. It is a pretty aggressive, confident move from a developer team that clearly knows exactly which buttons to press to manipulate player hype. They have successfully reset everyone's expectations. But a question for you though, looking at this entire 6-character lineup, which specific design caught your attention the most? And how...
This is gonna be my personal take. I don't think that the designs in particular are actually like the most nutty, mind-blowing stuff ever, because a lot of them are things that I feel like we've seen before to some degree, right? Yangyang is familiar. I'm not gonna go ahead and say Sui Sui is like absolutely like blowing my shit up. King Zhao is, well, we've already kind of gotten the arrow sword thing with Cardathea, right? Like it is a bit of a recycled sort of premise. Shin kind of looks like a leveled up Chang Li. And of course, like Hiyuki Blend. So to me, I'm more so interested in, like, Jing Ran is honestly, in my opinion, the most interesting new design that we've gotten. But I don't fucking like it. I think Jing Ran is obviously the most creative of them all. So he's probably going to have the best looking kit. But like, bro, I do not like how that guy looks. But I have to say, in terms of like, oh, which one's going to change the game the most? It's probably him because his design is the most unique. Right? I'm not... The rest of the characters, guys, it's not like they're going in and like fucking changing everything, right? There's a reason why for all the other units, you can reference a unit that already exists in the game. Suo Ming looks like Dan Jin. Yangyang looks like Yangyang. Sui Sui looks like Yangyang, right? Shin looks like Changli and Hiyuki. King Zhao seems like she's going to be exactly the same as Cardathea, right? But then Jing Ran kind of comes in. He's just like, bro, I look like a fucking albino Dalmatian.
How do you feel about Kuro finally making Sentinels playable? If you enjoyed the video so far, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, that'll be my personal take. I'm a little bit... I don't really know. I feel like there's definitely a bunch of directions for the 3.5 hype to go. I'm just hoping that they're able to fully follow through on the vision, because right now it is a little... It does seem like some interesting creative decisions they've been making so far. I want to see how the region pans out, though, because I look back to 3.0, the Lahai Roy, right? I look back to 3.0 and the whole, like, Lahai Roy cast. Think about how we got, like, Lene, Mornier, Luke, Sigrika, and then Lucilla as the drips, right? Bro, who were actually some of the least consequential units that got released out of those drips? It was like Sigrika and Lucilla, right? They kind of feel like the afterthoughts compared to the rest of the guys. So who knows what's going to happen to this part of the roster? Because we saw that 6 months. Guys, Lucilla seemed like the dommy mommy must pull most, like, insane unit ever. And then she's, like, viewership-wise and engagement-wise, right? Lucilla is one of the most unpopular units in the history of the game. I'm just stating the facts. Bro, she don't get no views. Bro, she gets no views. But she has that design. And when that's the end result that occurs, where Lucilla is the most unpopular unit of the Lahai Roy arc, from what we saw of her, anything can happen, especially with the release of these units. So yeah, lot of good hype, kind of like getting us ready for getting us ready to 3.5. But Glaive, stop fucking LARPing, bro. I'm not even gonna say that this was, bro. The LARPing here was insane. We gotta get a LARP counter over here, brother. Brother, you are explicitly getting called out. Get your fags straight home, brother. All right, let me know what you all thought. Peace out.